Pride Month, everyone! Hi there, it's Future Catsy here, and I really wanted to apologize beforehand before getting into the video. While I was making edits to the video, I noticed there's like this very annoying heavy breathing noise which kind of comes off as like a slurping noise, and that happened because while I was recording the video I was kind of sick and I had a blocked nose, so that's why the noise there. But it's also very embarrassing and I really wanted to apologize because it's very annoying there, and I really did think about re-recording the entire video, but as you can see the video is way too long and I really did not want to sit here for another night re-recording the entire video. But again, I'm really sorry about that, but I really hope that you do like the manga recommendations in this video. So please enjoy the video. So this is June 2024 and it's Pride Month. It's almost a week. Yeah, it's a week into Pride. And I was supposed to get this video out towards the beginning, but I got delayed by a bit, so sorry for that. But welcome to another one of my videos. Here are queer manga recommendations, as you can see from the title. And if you have seen the cover, the thumbnail, I made an image of several anime and manga queer characters that you can see there. I'll be showing that. If you want to download that, if you want that image, you can go here. I will show you. I basically I posted it on Twitter. You can go in the description. I'll put the link there. You can download the image for yourself. I made it. It took me quite a while to make it. I didn't draw it, but yeah. Either way, you can download that image. It's on my Twitter. I'll link in the description. Here's the image. Though here it is. Yeah. So you can go here, my Twitter, download the image. But happy Pride Month once again. I will speak about all the manga recommendations that I have for you that you should read as soon as possible. I read a lot of manga, and well, I watch a lot of anime. I am a weeb, I grew up a weeb, and a lot of my life, basically I started reading manga from Ranma half, which I know a lot of trans people love. A lot of trans women love. A lot of it cracked the eggs of a lot of trans women. I know that for a fact. It it kind of cracked my egg too, kind of. I guess my egg was like cracked and Ranma half just shattered it. But either way, I started reading manga from Ranma half, and I read a bunch of manga, like over 100 manga. It's not maybe a lot, but it's a few. And I thought, hey, for Pride Month, why not suggest people some queer manga that I have read and I kind of like. So that's what I'm going to do today. Again, welcome, sit tight, let's go through these bunch of manga. Also, here's like all the characters. You can't see it on the screen, the complete entirety of it, but go to the Twitter link, you'll get the image. Let's begin. Okay, so the first manga that I'm going to talk about is this, Senpai wa Otokonoko. Now, this is web manga. It's not drawn in the traditional way. It's drawn in more of a webtoon way. But I love this manga. It's more of a webtoon than a manga in terms of the art style and everything, and like how it's drawn, like the length of the pages and stuff. So that's what it is, but it's still technically manga because it's Japanese. The source is Japanese. before you say, oh, hey, Otokonoko does not, it's just a cross-dressing dude, it's not nothing queer. I mean, I personally think cross-dressing dudes, as you call it, or like however they identify, drag queens, cross-dressers, whoever they are also kind of opposing the gender roles of society, the gender binary and everything. They're opposing a lot of things in their own ways, and I will consider them queer. They might be cis, they might be heterosexual, but I think, I personally think they would be good. They are queer. That's what I believe. So Otokonoko, despite what you think, I would say it's queer. But in the context of this specific manga, what I want to talk about, I will read through the synopsis maybe first, and then talk about it. So as you can see here on my anime list, if you want to follow me on my anime list, the link is in the description. But on my anime list, it has a average score of 7.8. I gave it a 10 out of 10. I might be biased because I gave it a 10 out of 10. I mean, I really liked this manga, especially like in the middle. There was this part that I related to a lot, but also because I don't see a lot of manga dealing with queer people in this depth, especially the protagonist in this case. Anyway, let's read through the synopsis first. Makoto Hanaoka, a womanly second-year student, easily attracts other people's attention. First-year student Saki Aoi is no exception, and she falls in love with Makoto at first sight. Having a vibrant and vigorous personality, she does not hesitate to confess her feelings to her senior. However, Makoto differs significantly from the person Saki perceives. Makoto is not a girl, but rather a cross-dressing boy. After revealing his well-known secret to Saki, Makoto expects her to be disgusted. Surprisingly, she is instead captivated by this revelation. Nonetheless, he still rejects her. But Saki's determination does not stop her from declaring that she will become his first love. With Saki and his childhood friend at his side, Makoto's world brightens, giving him strength amid his struggle between his interests and the expectations placed on him. So, here's the thing. I read this manga last year, 2023 March, and when I entered this manga, the day after that, they announced that this is getting an anime, and the anime is coming out next month, July 2024. I am personally extremely excited for the anime adaptation. I am so fucking glad it's getting an anime because a lot of queer shit don't get anime. A lot of queer manga, a lot of ones I'll be discussing after this don't have any anime, but this is getting one. I think it topped, like, there was this contest about a manga that needs to be animated into anime or something like that of 2022 or 3, and this one top. This was first place. In comparison, Oshinoko, the anime that came out, the manga for that ranked 6th, Kaiju number 8 was 10th, and there were also like other titles like Oshinoko Kaiju number 8. Sorry, I can't bring it off the top of my head, but there were some other popular series that made it to the top 10, but this was ranked 1. So that was surprising. People voted for this, but I loved it. For describing the rest of this, I will be addressing Makoto with they them pronouns instead of he him, as they have used in this synopsis for reasons that I know, which I will discuss. So spoiler warning, I guess, slight spoilers, but I guess that I can't discuss that probably. Like, I don't know how to discuss it without revealing the spoilers. I have to discuss this in the queer context. So here's the thing. Makoto is introduced as a cross-dressing boy, at the beginning of the story, and this girl Saki has said like she falls in love with them. Throughout the story, Saki loves that Makoto is feminine, loves Makoto's feminine appearance and persona and everything, all that. Um, that's all good, but in the middle of the story, we are revealed to that it's not even in the middle, it's closer to the end, but it's not exactly at the end. That Makoto's dad asks them if they want to be, if they want to become a girl, and a lot of things for trans women, trans girls are like, before coming out, before like they might come out, but they don't like how it was for me. I didn't know the terms and shit and like everything. And I was like, I want to be one. It's not. I am not. It's not. I didn't say I'm not a boy because that's not how. That's not the gender philosophy that I had. What I said was I want to be one. I hate being a guy, and I would much rather be a girl. Like, why would I not and everything? For Makoto, Makoto goes like, I don't know. Makoto, they say they don't know. They are just exploring. They love cute stuff. They love feminine stuff, and they are exploring. They don't know if they're a boy who loves feminine things or they want to be a girl. Whatever it comes, it might happen in future. But at the moment of the story, they don't know. And that's why I'm addressing them as they, them. This is the reason. But yeah, one thing, the reason, one of the main reasons I rated it 10 out of 10, a masterpiece, is because in the middle of the story, Makoto confronts their mother about liking feminine things, going to school dressed up as a girl, all that. And I related a lot. I never went to school dressed up as a girl, living where I lived. Where I grew up, I live in India in a small fucking rural town. It was impossible for me to do that. I would probably not be alive if I came out like that long. I had some friends who knew, but that's about it. So the part I related is the mom, Makoto, hiding things in their drawer, in their desk from the mom, like small feminine accessories like hair clips, cute things. I related to that. I mean, I think a lot of trans women, trans feminine people would relate to that. I did that a lot. I hid some hair clips and shit from my mom when I was in school in my drawers and shit. But that's not the main part I related. The main part was how their mom acted. Not towards the end of the confrontation, towards the beginning. Their mom could not accept that they are not quote unquote normal in the society, so she hated them. She hated that Makoto is not normal. Makoto is not like other boys. Makoto is so weird, or rather queer. So she hated it. That's the same as my mom. She hated it to the point. I mean, I don't know. There would be a lot of spoilers, but one of the things was Makoto saw how hysteric their mother became. Like, it was I was getting flashbacks while I was reading that part, because I remember when I was in 9th grade in high school, I came out to my mom one night. My dad was not home. I came out to my mom, and she was so hysterical. She asked me to cut off all my girl friends, not girlfriends, girls, like friends who were girls. She asked me to cut off all of them from my life. She asked me to only keep contact with guys. That's what she went extremely hysteric. And then she just blocked it out of her memory, because when I came out again, like properly, publicly and everything in 2019 to 2020, she didn't remember at all me coming out back in 9th grade. She said I never said that. That was something new. But I know that I did. I remember everything like it was yesterday. She was so hysteric, and I found the same thing. Makoto's mother was hysteric. Makoto saw that and was like, okay, yeah, no, that was nothing. That was just something I did back then. Makoto just said, oh yeah, I'm going to dress up as a boy, don't worry, I'm going to do boy things, I'm going to do this, that. That's what I did to calm her down. Back when I first came out in ninth grade, those are the exact things. And their mother said, oh, that's good, yes, you should be a guy, you should be like this and everything. And their mother was like, yeah, don't make me worry. It's like a very Asian thing. Oh, don't make me worry, it's the society, and yada yada, lots of things. But basically, I related to the entire relationship dynamic between Makoto and their mother. That's something I extremely related to. And to the point I got some flashbacks. Maybe not good, that good. I would like that I got flashbacks, but any other way, I love this. Senpai wo Otokonoko. The anime is coming out. I am very, very excited to watch the anime. So this is my first suggestion for the 25 Kuya manga. So yeah. By the way, I will put in timestamps in there, so you can just see all the manga that I'm suggesting. If you want to jump to a certain timestamp in the a certain manga, you can do so. But either way, Senpai wo Otokonoko, do check this out. It's like so it had 100 chapters, I think. But was it 100 chapters? Wait, I can just check it. Yeah, 100 chapters. So 100 chapters, and then the author, what was the name again? Pomu. Yeah, Pomu decided to continue with second part. It's like a prequel to Senpai wa Otokonoko. It's set in middle school of Makoto, where Makoto does not know anything. Makoto doesn't go to school dressed up as a girl or anything. It's just starting, so that's going on after 100 chapters. I don't think that has been added on my anime list, but that thing is going on for sure. Makoto's past in middle school. This is in high school. That's in middle school. I am reading that. I haven't read that a lot, but I'm reading that. But do check this out. Do check out the anime when it comes out next month. Now to the next anime. Now for the next manga, I have Boku ga Watashi ni Naru Tame ni. I rated it 8 out of 10. The my anime list public score is 7.4. I rated it a bit higher because this was like the first of its kind of manga that I personally read. It's a very short manga. It has, as you can see, it has only like 8 chapters. It came out in 2016, which was 8 years ago. Reading the synopsis, an essay, it's not an essay, it's a manga, but I guess an essay that describes the process of becoming a female from male. The author, who had been diagnosed with GID, gender identity disorder, had traveled to Thailand to receive SRS, sex reassignment surgery, but the path to womanhood is a lot more painful than imagined. So basically, there are quite a few manga like this. I think I found at least like 3. I have not put all of them in the 25 manga. I put this one because this is the first one I read in this kind of thing. So Boku wa Watashi ni Naru Tame ni is about a trans woman in Japan. The author herself, she came out, then she went to Thailand getting SRS or gender affirming surgery. And I think trans women who are considering bottom surgery, especially primarily, would find this kind of manga a lot helpful because it documents everything. I think it was this. Okay, so this I think like the I am praising the manga, but this might be a bit downside to because just because of my memory is bad. Like I don't remember if it was this manga or another manga like this, which had the author explained the some like 2 or 3 different processes of bottom surgery that trans women can get. I think it was this, but my memory is not that great. So yeah, it does document that there are like all the 3 manga. They are all helpful for trans women who are considering bottom surgery. And if you're considering bottom surgery in Thailand, like I think you should read the manga. It's pretty good. I loved it. I loved the experience. I love to know the experience basically. Like I can watch a YouTube video on someone getting a bottom surgery. I can watch. I can read essays. I can read internet articles. But reading manga is an art form I love, and reading it in manga form was something new that I experienced, like a biography kind of thing, autobiography, like a small one. But like either way, uh, it was new to me, and I kind of enjoyed it, and I learned a lot about getting bottom surgery in Thailand. I also learned a few things about like gender identity, things like uh, trans uh, trans related things in the Japanese legal system and stuff. I learned a few of those, but I think you should read the manga, especially for trans femmes who are looking to get bottom surgery, especially in Thailand. I think you should read this manga. Not much more to say considering it's a very small one, but moving on to the next manga. The next manga that I'm going to talk about is Bokura no Hentai. Um, by the way, hentai does not necessarily mean pervert um, context. It might or might not. I think it would be like someone who is weird, someone who is not deemed normal in a society, someone who is queer. I think hentai, the term hentai in Japanese would fit them in certain ways. Not to say I don't know if the queer community in Japan has anything, like has like a movement or something like, oh, we will claim the term hentai for ourselves. I don't know if that's the case. I don't think it is. I don't live in Japan. I have never been to Japan. I am learning Japanese, but that's besides the point. Anyway, the public score for this is 7.7, while I gave it a 9 out of 10. Once again, there were some issues with the story. Some parts that I found a bit triggering, slightly problematic. Um, but I gave it a 9 out of 10 because I think the way the author Fumiko Fumi, sorry, Fumiko Fumi, went Fumiko Fumi or Fumiko. Hold on. Fumiko. Either way, the way she went about like exploring a child's gender identity, a gender dysphoria, I think that was nice. I think it could have been somewhat better, but I don't think it was that bad. I will read the synopsis first. From an outsider's perspective, what they are seeing is a normal meetup between three girls. However, these girls are meeting for the first time because one commonality, they were born as males but cross-dressed for various reasons. Ryosuke Kijima pretends to be his deceased older sister to keep her memory alive. Osamu Paro Tamura dresses as a girl to attract his straight senior in school, and Yuta Marika Aoki is a transgender female. Despite the similarities, Yui hates how the other two are satisfied with their habits and leaves quickly. Then alone, Paro expresses his support for Marika, causing her to fall in love with him. Though their meeting was cut short, the lives of these three people begin to cross as they grapple with their genders and identities. Romantic feelings begin to foster, sharpening the divide between them, yet bring them closer at the same time. Small spoilers. The triggering part was is related to assault, sexual assault to be specific. In the manga, that's a kind of part that, but like I think for realism's sake, I think for the character's sake, what it was, I think that's fine. I mean, it could be triggering. You might not like it. I think it works to show the development I might be wrong. I might be completely wrong. I haven't visited this manga in a while. I did not reread any of this manga for making this video, and I am going solely based on my memory of these. So the trans character here, there is a trans girl, Marika, as I will call her. I won't use the name Yuta. I will use Marika for her because that's what she likes being called. Marika, Yui, and Paro, these are their fem names. Marika is, of course, her preferred name that she wants to go by, and she does go by that name towards the end of the story. It's also not that big of a manga. It's just 41 chapters. But Marika is a trans girl. Paro Osamu, he's a gay dude. He, as said here, he just cross dresses to attract his straight senior in school. That's what's up with him. And Ryosuke or Yui, his reason is a bit different and kind of traumatic. It's a trauma response, kind of. He actually has this entire story backstory to him, which is kind of sad. I hate his mother, kind of. But yeah, I love that Marika here is very adamant. Like she knows that she's trans. She knows that people hate her, but she keeps on going with that. And I think a lot of trans women who figured it out as kids might relate to Marika on certain instances. But if I closeted throughout your life, you might not, because Marika was not closeted throughout her childhood. She came out. Um, but if you were, you might not. But there's some things you can relate if you knew that you were trans when you were a kid. I kind of knew I knew I was in cis. I didn't know the term cis, trans, or whatever. I knew I was not like other kids. And I related to Marika a lot in certain ways. I also envied her in certain ways. I just think the exploration of gender and sexuality in this manga, I think it's pretty good, which is why I gave it 9 out of 10. I don't see any bad reviews about it. Someone had a mixed feeling, but I don't see any bad reviews about it. And yeah, that's just what my views are on this particular manga. This was the third manga, so now I won't be discussing, like, I won't be taking like 5-10 minutes on every single manga in the list. There's like 25 of them, and I certainly can't do that. But moving on to the next manga. Now, the next manga is Double House. The public rating is 7.16. My rating is 8 out of 10. An 8 out of 10. It's also extremely short manga. It's just 4 chapters. It's like very short. I read the synopsis. From the creator of Pieta comes the story of a connection between two women, Maho and Fujiko, who live in the same apartment building. Maho, a transgender woman, saves Fujiko, a girl from a rich family who's left home and is living on her own. One night, and the two become fast friends. As they grow closer, Fujiko confesses to Maho that she has feelings for her. Now, it's basically a trans woman. It's a trans woman, like, they are women. I love that. I love this manga, by the way. I don't say it. I don't think there are that many issues here. A little bit in terms of the age difference between the two, but I don't think it results into anything way too problematic. I don't think so. Other than that age difference when Fujiko confesses. Actually, I don't even know. I don't remember their ages. I mean, Fujiko was not like, she was like just a new adult, a very young adult, if I remember correctly. I think she graduated high school. I read this a while ago, but yeah, Fujiko and Maho, the age difference is probably the only thing, and even that's not that problematic. I don't remember it resulting into anything problematic. It's also a very old manga. It was published in 1996, August to 1997. Like, four chapters released over a year in the 90s, in the mid 90s, which is amazing. I think for the time, I don't know how Japan was at the time, but it seems like it was this might have been revolutionary for all I know back in the mid 90s. But yeah, as said here, Maho, a trans woman, she lives in this apartment with her own mansion. Like, I don't know what those are called. Like, it's an apartment, but it's like 2 stories. So I don't know what those are called. I don't remember. That she lives there, and of course Fujiko, she runs away from her family and just they become friends. Uh, Maho works at this queer bar, if I remember correctly, and there's a lot of things going on. But I love how respectful it was. Like, the manga was through trans women. I think that was really good. I I love Maho being a strong woman, a strong trans woman, and she doesn't take any harassment towards her. She knows people are going to come at her, and I think, I think this is a really respectful manga for trans women. I think you should read it, considering it's just 4 chapters. I really think you should read it. It's very short, and I don't see any reason one should not read it if they are looking for more queer manga to read. Yeah, I would have liked if it was a bit more, but I'm fine with what it was. It was good. Mid 90s probably have been revolutionary. I don't know. I don't even know how popular this is. Like, on my anime list, it's like ranked 6,000 in manga, which is a lot. But still, lovely manga. Go ahead and read it. I am repeating myself, so I will move on to the next manga. Next manga is Fukakai na Boku no Subete wo Love Me for Who I Am. This, again, the public score is 7.92, but I rated it a 10 out of 10. And I read it a while ago. This just came out like 2018 to 21, so this is relatively new. And let me read the synopsis, then I will describe, because this is one of my favorite mangas of all time. This, Senpai wa Otokonoko, and these are my favorite mangas of all time. Some of my favorite mangas. And let me just read through the synopsis. Mogumo is known throughout the entire school as an easy target. They are non-binary, neither male nor female, which ostracizes them from the rest of the school community. However, in a chance encounter, they meet a boy named Tetsu Iwaoka who decides to bring Mogumo to a maid cafe. Tetsu claims that the people there will understand them, and Mogumo jumps at the chance to meet people similar to them. However, Mogumo soon becomes upset after learning that the place is seen as a girly boy cafe, and they are mistaken as a cross-dressing boy. Tetsu manages to convince Mogumo that it doesn't matter what their sex is, and they gladly join the team of cafe workers. This begins a story of self-discovery and acceptance as each character explores the concept of gender and its meaning. Love this manga. I think this was the first manga. Yeah, this was the first manga that I read with a non-binary protagonist. Now, they are trans femme. And the only reason I'm saying they are trans feminine, they're not a girl, they are non-binary, they're trans feminine as in they like cute stuff, they like feminine stuff, they dress pretty feminine compared to what it is norm for men or boys. As you can see, this is, I think, this cover art, if you can see here, is genius. I think I will just open it in a new tab just to show you what I mean. Oh, I can't. Anyway, it's not getting big. But the cover art is genius because here we got Mogumo in a cute maid outfit because they work in this, I will call it a queer cafe rather than a girly boy cafe as mentioned in the synopsis for various reasons. But this queer cafe with cookies or whatever these are supposed to be lying all around them, and they are in the shape of the male and female sex symbols, while Mogumo has like the female sex symbol cookies or whatever they are. They're pink and the male ones are blue, while Mogumo has one in their mouth, which is white. It's neither pink nor blue. It's white, and it's in their mouth with the part where like the female one is X and the male one is an arrow. That part is hidden because that part is in their mouth and only they know, or they get to decide. Like they can just, for fuck's sake, they can just break it off and it's nothing, none of these. And the fact that it's white, so no one knows what it is, only Mogumo does, and even they can change it or whatever the meaning is. Like I love that cover art for the first volume. I don't know if I can get the hardcover, like the hard print in India, but I really want to get this manga. It's just 28 chapters, 5 volumes. I loved it, absolutely adored it. I think every queer person should read this. This is so good. Love the cover art, and also love like the trans flag thing, like the blue, pink, and white for the NBs in the trans community, which I think that was good. Um, so Mogumo explores, like Mogumo is very adamant on being non-binary. A lot of people, there have been people who said, "Oh, so you are just trans girl," and Mogumo does not like that. Mogumo says they are neither a girl nor a guy, and I think this vocal, a non-binary protagonist, this vocal is quite a representation for all my non-binary pals who might be watching. Happy Pride to you for this manga, but this was one of the first queer mangas I read, like very explicitly queer. Loved it, absolutely loved it. And I think every queer person should read this. Mogumo's parents are not very accepting. And Mogumo, there's an entire arc towards the end where Mogumo has to deal with them. Mogumo also has a sister, younger sister, and I related to because Mogumo is trans femme. They are feminine in a lot of their mannerisms and their gender expressions. They are quite feminine. So trans women and trans feminine people in general face a lot of similar issues with parents, society, and everything. And I related to being, I'm not non-binary, I am a binary trans woman, but I'm related to a lot of their issues with their parents, especially. I did not relate, like when people call them a girl and they did not like it. I did not relate to that because I am not non-binary. They are. It's also a queer cafe in the sense, the owner, by the way, the owner of this queer cafe is a trans woman. The owner is a trans woman. There are other characters who are, all of them are queer. Every single employee owner, they're all queer, which is what I love about this. Mogumo also has the romance thing going on. Mogumo's partner later discovers, like, they are confused, like what they think of Mogumo, like whether Mogumo, they like Mogumo as a guy or a girl, and they later realizes they just don't care. They like Mogumo, they like the person, they don't like the gender, and coming out as pansexual, which was lovely to see. Mogumo's partner is pansexual. They discover that for themselves. Mogumo's partner is cis, from what I can remember. But absolutely love this manga. 10 out of 10. Despite whatever score this is, 7.9. I think that's too low. I don't know why people did not like it that much. Not recommended 2, which should I read that not recommended one? Hyperlink blocked. Whatever. Let's see. They rated it a fucking 1. I loved this manga. Okay, let's see. The last review was apparently confusing to some, so I'll stick to the abridged version. I have not read the last review. I don't care. This is propaganda. MC's Gary Stew. I have no fucking idea who Gary Stew is, and the entire world exists to let you know his nobody. They are right. Nobody actually has it except MC Stew. Oh my gosh. Okay, I am not reading that shit. That review is probably disgusting. I am not reading that review. Fuck it. Anyway, love the manga. Go read it. Please, 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 please go read this manga. I don't think you will regret it. On to the next manga now. The next manga on my list is Half and Half. Half and Half. Hafu to Hafu? I guess. Anyway. What's the Japanese say actually? Does it say half the hafu? Hafu ando hafu. Okay, so in Japanese it's hafu ando hafu. Okay, that's fine. It got a public rating of 6.86. That's the average rating, while I rated it 8 out of 10. I have read some negative review. There was a queer person who left a negative review under this saying it's transphobic. I don't think it was. I have reasons for that. I don't think it was transphobic. The manga. The characters in the manga, they are. But the manga in itself, I don't think. It's also very short. I actually wanted this manga to be a bit longer. I was kind of invested. It's just 9 chapters over 2 volumes. So read it. It's very short. It ranks over 10,000, which is, well, I mean, most of these are not popular. Anyway, let me read through the synopsis. Our heroine is a girl named Hina-chan. She is in her 20s. Hina has a handsome boyfriend now, but she will always remember her first love, a boy named Itsuki. When other kids would tease Hina, calling her ugly, Itsuki would defend her and try to cheer her up, make her feel better. He and some of his family eventually moved away, leaving Hina heartbroken. But the memory of her first love is always make Hina feel nostalgic and happy inside. Itsuki's grandmother still lives next door to Hina, so she still has a connection to him somehow. One day, Hina has a dream of Itsuki and she is feeling especially nostalgic about him. She is just mentioning her dream to his grandmother when they are interrupted by the arrival of a stranger. It is a tall, beautiful woman. Wait a minute, it's Itsuki. Itsuki is not joking either. He claims that he is really a woman on the inside and now is dressing that way on the outside. And yes, even though Itsuki now lives as a woman, Hina finds herself falling in love all over again, regardless of how Itsuki dresses. But Itsuki sees herself as a woman and she only loves men. Will Hina end up heartbroken all over again? This was published back in 2008 to 2009. So, yeah, it's old as fuck. It's 16 years old, this manga. So, yeah, I don't like if there are any queerphobic things in the manga that I failed to recognize. I wouldn't be surprising considering the age of the manga, but I don't think there were. There are several queerphobic, there are several transphobic characters in the manga. They're very transphobic, in fact, to the point of spray painting on Itsuki's walls, like about transphobia, like being transphobic, just transphobic shit. So there are transphobic characters there, but the manga, no, I don't think so. Anyway, Hina and Itsuki, I will, of course, Itsuki is a trans woman. I think it's very apparent from the synopsis. I will be using she, her pronouns, not he, him pronouns. But let's discuss it. So, Itsuki is extremely vocal about being a trans woman. She knows she doesn't care about transphobic bullies. She has lived through her parents, through a lot of transphobic people, and she has learned to not give a flying fuck. Now, how does she, like, there are kids because she moved back to the countryside to her grandmother and everything. She even has kids, kind of like being transphobic, and she just deals with them. She doesn't get that she does get somewhat aggressive and shit. I won't talk much about the romance because I did not read through the manga before this entire video. I will read through this, but yeah, I remember loving the growth of a relationship, the interrelation dynamics between Itsuki and Hina. Um, Towards the end, the part I loved more was towards the end actually. Towards the end, if I remember, it was Itsuki's younger brother, if I remember correctly. Itsuki's younger brother was getting married, and Itsuki's parents told her if Itsuki can't come. Itsuki is not invited as a family member if she does not decide as a guy. So Itsuki who does not want to miss her brother's wedding, goes dressed up as a guy. Is miserable. Itsuki is fucking miserable while just dressed that way. Um, I love Itsuki's brother, younger brother. He fights for her. He tries standing up to his parents. Her brother is quite good. Her brother is like, I love my sister. I want my sister to be in my wedding. All that shit. Her brother's wife is also quite supportive of Itsuki. Fantastic. I love Itsuki's brother and the brother's wife. I love them. I think they're great allies in the manga. So I don't think so. Here's the comment. It has got like 3 recommended and 2 non-recommended, and I do not want to read the entire review, but this I think, yeah, most of it is surface level exploration of a cis woman being attracted to the past male self of like, I don't think, like, yes, it is from the perspective of a cis woman for a lot. Um, the to the point that she tries to forget about the past Itsuki and all that, but I think Itsuki as a character is really good. I think considering it came out like 16 years ago in a conservative society like Japan, I think the character was very well written. And I mean, yes, it might be a bit fast paced considering there are only 9 chapters to it. But other than that, I'm sorry, I might be completely off the rails here. I might be out of my mind, but I did not see a problem. I did not see that big of a problem with this manga. You might call me insane if you read this and come to my comments and leave like, oh, hey, Catsy, you're insane for thinking it's not transphobic. You might say that, but like, I honestly did not think this was. Like, I liked it. As someone who grew up in a conservative society like India, growing up trans, I wish, I can only dream of having the courage that Itsuki does. I kind of envied that her grandmother accepted her like that, and she lets her stay at her place and all that, and Itsuki is trying to save her for her surgery and all that shit. I wish things. I did not like the transphobia towards her, but that only goes to show the reality that a trans woman faces in a conservative society. I don't know why anyone would think this is transphobic. You might say it is not as deep maybe as it needed to be. It's like, to be fair, it's like 9 chapters. I think this was cancelled. I do not remember for sure. But I liked it. I really liked it. I think it deserves an 8 out of 10 from me. That's all I gotta say about it. Moving on to the next manga. The next manga is Himegoto, Juukyuusai no Seifuku. Uh, Uniforms at the age of 19. Juukyuusai is the age of 19. Seifuku is like the sailor uniform or uniform. But yeah, I rated this as a masterpiece, a 10 out of 10. I completely understand people who might not rate it as high as I did. I think I rated it as high because this was the first kind of manga. It's queer, all right. It's problematic. It's fucked up teenagers doing fucked up things. Um, they're just they have issues. these teenagers, the three protagonists, need therapy, like seriously, but they live in Japan, and Japan, like India, does not give a flying fuck about your mental health. Um, so, what the fuck is therapy? That's what Asia is, I think. I don't know. Are there any Asian countries that care about therapy? I don't know, but even India is like that. But like this story is about three fucked up teenagers. It's like 100 chapters long. Oh, it's exactly 100 chapters long. It published from 2010 to 2014, which it has already been 10 years. Like it's going to be 10 years this year that it got over, but it's relatively, like, it's not that old, but it's not like new either. I love this manga. I loved all the 100 chapters. It has trauma. So, trigger warning for anyone who decides to read this. There's a lot of traumatic events in the manga. A lot. You might get traumatized, you might get PTSD. So, if you want to read it, just that trigger warning there. But I enjoyed it. There was a lot. I got triggered, but I think it was great. It ranks just 2000, which is decent enough, I think, considering the others were like over 10,000 and all. But I read the synopsis. Acting and cross-dressing as a boy, Yuki Yoshiki Ichihara is viewed as male by her peers. Despite her expectations, she secretly wants nothing more than to be feminine. On the other hand, all of Mikako Nagao's classmates believe she is sweet and pure. But in contrast to her innocent veneer, she enjoys selling her body to older men while pretending to be, sorry YouTube, 15 years old. Though it may just be a front, her appearance has enchanted the dashing ladykiller Kaito Aiba, who lusts not for Mikako but to be her. To help fulfill this fantasy, he cross-dresses as his idol and takes pleasure in impersonating her in his spare time. Each of these three college students hides behind an identity that is not their own, making a self that they cannot reveal. Burdened by their hidden lives, they search for who they are and what defines them as their fates begin to intertwine. Um, Again, I think you can understand when I said it's going to be traumatic. I think you got some hint from the synopsis at what the traumatic events might be. There's a lot, but there's some hint in here. Uh, Yoshiki or Yuki is a cis woman whom I would like to say has a very trans woman experience, because she might be a cis woman. I'm sorry. She might be a cis woman, but her peers view her as a guy. Like, she dresses up as a guy. She doesn't know how to be feminine. She doesn't know how to talk to girls. She doesn't know a lot of shit, and she has a lot of guy friends. And none of the girls even consider her like very girly and all that. And but she really wants to be more feminine, and I think that's a very trans woman experience. Trans women don't know how to do it, but at least a lot of trans women, and of course me, like I wanted, I thought I related. Like Kaito Aiba is a trans woman. Small spoiler, I guess, but Kaito, she is a trans woman. She comes out later in the manga and all that. She's a trans woman, but I related to Yuki more than I related to Kaito, because even though Kaito is a trans woman, the experience that Kaito had is quite different from the experience that I had. And I think Yuki or Yoshiki, she had a closer experience to that I could relate. Now it's not exactly the same, of course, but I related to the thought processes and all that going on with Yuki. Um, there's that, and it was like which is probably why, because this was probably the first time that I related a trans experience to a cis character this much, and I was surprised at that, which is probably also why I gave it a 10 out of 10. But also all the dark themes that goes on in the manga and all that. But it's very queer. All three of the main cast, they are queer. Yuki, as I already said, had a very trans woman experience. Although she is a cis woman, she is bi. She is bisexual, as far as I remember. Um, Mikako Nagao is lesbian. She might sell her body to men, but she is a lesbian, if I remember correctly. And Kaito is a trans woman who is also a lesbian, I think. Anyway, it's basically three queer women, and I think people who are interested in like dark college students, queer college students, dark story, fucked up college students. I guess you can read this. I really liked it. I also suggested this to a couple of people, and one of them said they got traumatized by it. I don't think they completed it. They did not have any issues, like any issues with the manga itself, except the traumatic things. So, other than that, I already gave you the trigger warning. I think this is a really good manga. You should go ahead and read it if you want to. But yeah, this is another manga that I suggest. Now, moving on to the next manga. Next manga is Hourou Musuko, and this already has an anime. This is the first manga in the list till now that has an anime to its name. The public rating is 8.22. I rated it at 10 out of 10 because I read it first time when I was a child. I was a teenager when I read it for the first time. It came out in from 2002 to 2013. It has 123 chapters over 15 volumes, and I read it when I was in high school. I thought, holy fuck, this is life changing, because I was not. Uh, Growing up in India, in rural India, I did not have internet connection until I was in high school. I got a computer. I got computer access in middle school. I did not have internet connection until I was in high school, and even when in high school, I had limited internet connection. And I found the anime to Hourou Musuko in one of my cousin's computers, and I got it in a flash drive and a pen drive. I got it from his computer and I watched it in mine. And the anime, here's the thing, I think you should read the manga over the anime. Now, yeah, I'm not like a go read the manga person normally. I mean, I am probably in a lot of cases, but for this especially, the anime only takes like a part of the manga from the middle, not even like the first part or something. It's like from the middle, shows some things that happened in the first parts of the manga as flashbacks, and it's like 12 episodes. And while the manga is 123 episodes, it shows the main character growing up from their childhood to graduating school and going off to college. It has an 8.22. It's ranked 400. It's one of the most popular. It's the most popular thing till yet in the list, I believe. I don't think Senpai Otokonoko was popular than this. What was that? Yeah, it was 1200. Hourou Musuko is 400. So it's certainly way more popular. Let me read through the synopsis first. Shuichi Nitori is a 5th grade student who likes to bake and has always been something of a feminine boy. When he transfers to a new school, Shuichi is mistaken for his 6th grade sister on his first day. Then he ends up sitting next to Yoshino Takatsuki, a tall boyish girl who everyone calls Takatsuki-kun. They both have secrets they can't let anyone know. The series deals with issues such as being transgender, gender identity, and the beginning of puberty. Should I read through the background? Actually, just pause the video and read here. Just pause the video, read the background if you want to, but that's it. Um, Here's the thing. Uh, Objectively speaking, Hourou Musuko does not probably deserve a 10 out of 10. Objectively speaking, I gave it a 10 out of 10 for emotional reasons. The fact that it was the first explicitly queer anime, like this kind of anime, like a trans kid growing up. Um, it was the first of its kind that I watched. It was a bit confusing, the anime, considering I did not know a lot of the background, but it was still good, and I still love it. There are some issues with how the manga goes. For example, Yoshino's story, character arc, how Yoshino ends up and everything. But Shu, she is a sweetheart. She is a trans girl who is just having struggles being trans in a conservative society, in a society where boys dressing up as girls for something that's not a joke is seen as weird. Girls dressing up as guys is not that weird, and I know this. As a kid, I knew if my girlfriends they decided to wear pants, which they did, they wore jeans a lot. No one tells them anything. They could be boyish and no one would tell them much. They might say, "Oh, you are being too boyish. Like you should be more girly." But that's the extent of that. But if I back then decided to wear a skirt, wear makeup, and just had interest in feminine things, I would be seen as someone weird. I would be ostracized, sized. I would be bullied, and it discovers all of that. I think the author, I forgot the name actually. Yeah, Shimura Takako. She has written a bunch of other. I think she has written some lesbian stories as well. Um, but I don't think um, to my knowledge, I don't know if she interviewed any trans people or not. But I think this is one of the best trans representation manga for the time it came out. Back then, this was the manga I tried to. So one of my friends from high school, like he was a friend. He has been a friend since we were in elementary school, and I made him watch the anime, and I was like, "Hey, you should watch this anime. I really loved it and all that." I said that shit, and I did not know, so I wasn't out to him, and I did not know if he would be transphobic or not. So I just said, "Hey, you should watch this anime. I really loved it and all that," uh, in hopes of starting a dialogue on trans people and like coming out. But he never took the hint. So I did not end up coming out to him through this. I came out a lot later than that. That time, I did not come out at that time to him because he just did not realize this is what I was going for. Either way, um, Shu is a trans girl who has issues with puberty. There are other queer characters. I don't remember Mako-chan, I think was her name. Um, she was introduced as a trans girl, although I think I should call I should say he, because I think Mako-chan later grows up and discovers I will just use they because it's gender neutral. They are like a gay guy, um, a little bit feminine gay guy. So I think that was the case. Yoshino, who was at first we thought, okay, is Yoshino, they're going to be I will use her for Yoshino for manga, like the story reasons, where Yoshino ends up being at the end. She We thought she is going to be, oh, it's a trans guy. So I thought when I started, like, oh, it's like, because I watched the anime first, right? And I watched the anime and I was like, oh, so it's like a dual protagonist thing. Okay, we have a trans girl and a trans boy, and both of them fall in love. But that doesn't happen. Their romance doesn't work out the way I thought it would, even in the anime. But it's not Yoshino's character arc. Like, she later in the manga she discovers that, oh, it's just not. I don't know if it's like this, like a huge, it can be a, it can have its own big ass video. And if I start discussing everything, because this being my first, one of my first manga of all time, and my first explicitly queer manga like this, I think I I can talk a lot about this, and it's going to, this video is already being way too long than it should be, so I will keep it short. But I think you should go read. There are a lot of YouTube analysis on this particular manga on like YouTube, of course, the YouTube analysis, but like I think you should read it. It's 123 chapters over 15 volumes. I think I read it somewhere or watched in some video that Hourou Musuko is the only manga that was banned in Florida from schools because they were banning all queer shit and all immoral shit and all that. Hourou Musuko was banned. But either way, go read this. I think it's great. I think a lot of people who were uncomfortable as kids because they are trans, a lot of trans women out there who are uncomfortable because they are teenagers or were uncomfortable when they were teenagers, like myself, would relate to Shu a lot. um, Shu's experiences, especially if you grew up in a conservative society like I did. If you grew up with surrounding people, like I think you would be comparatively less uncomfortable considering you have supportive people, which I didn't. But and Shu doesn't in the manga. But if you did grow up being so uncomfortable about gender and all that, about thinking, oh, why can't I just like stuffed toys and pink and makeup and dolls and skirts and all that, like, I think this manga is for you because I haven't seen such a nuanced take on gender identity and expression and sexuality of kids, because we see the manga from Shu in fifth grade, as it says, to growing up and graduating from high school and going to college. And I think this is great. I think this is lovely. And Shu later realizing, I mean, I don't know if Shu ends up like bisexual or lesbian, but she ends up in a lesbian relationship. Spoiler alert! I forgot to give the spoiler alert before saying it. Sorry, I am not going to edit this out. But yeah, she ends up in a lesbian relationship and all that. I think this is great for the time it came out and everything, all of that. Go read this. There are some problematic things, very small, I think. Yoshino's thing might be considered problematic or might be considered realistic. I don't know. That's for trans guys to decide, I guess. I did not find it that bad, although I can understand why people would think it as not great. However, I think you should. I don't see any reason for not reading this manga. This is lovely. This is heart touching. I cried at points when I was reading this manga. But moving on to the next manga now. The next manga is Kamisama no Ekohiiki, or the favoritism of the god. So the public rating, the average score is 7.18, and I gave it a 7. I think it's the first in the list that I gave it lower than the average. I mean, it's still 7. I could not give it 7.8 exactly, 1.8 exactly, but like, yeah, it's not. So I have biases. Why? It's just 30 chapters. Go read it if you want to, but I will start with the synopsis first before going to other things, right? So, to gain the confidence to confess to his crush, Yashiro visits a secluded shrine for 100 straight days. 100 days straight. This earns him the attention of the enshrined deity and his fox attendant Ukon, who follow Yashiro on the 100th day to see how the confession turns out. However, they are surprised to see him confess to a guy, Yashiro's longtime friend Kenta, only for Kenta to turn him down. Although heartbroken, Yashiro tries to joke around with Kenta, but he accidentally gets killed when a truck runs into him. I mean, Truck-kun just killing anime characters, manga characters like that, like that's just as common. um, for Truck-kun, I guess. Yashiro awakens in the presence of the shrine's god and Ukon, and as a show of gratitude, the god decides to restore him back to life to give him a second chance with Kenta. In doing so, the god grants his wish to be reborn as a high school girl and gives her the name Kagura Tendo. However, she soon discovers that the god and Ukon plan to watch over her relationship with Kenta, although she is the only one who can see and hear them. Now, um, it might seem like there's a lot of, let's be honest, there's a lot of anime, manga, light novels. Oh, guy gets killed by Truck-kun, then gets isekai'd or to the past or reincarnated or whatever as a hot girl, and yada yada yada. There's a lot of this shit, like a lot. I think I've added some more to the list actually, but it's not. It's yaoi. It's gay. This manga is gay. It's not. I guess yaoi is not smut or anything, but like it's gay. It's between two gay guys, and that's I know because I read the manga how it ends, and I remember that is why I gave it 7 because as a trans woman reading this, like this came out in 2017 to 2018. That's when it aired. It published. Um, as a trans girl, like I love my gay shit. Okay, I do like seeing. I have no issues seeing gay guys, cute relationships and all that. But hey, you know, trans girl fantasies, like just don't have to be like as much as as less responsible as I need to be for a transition. I would love that. Trans girls, I know a lot of you relate to this. Okay, don't not lie to me. I know I am in a lot of trans groups. I'm in a lot of trans romans. Do not fucking lie. I know I'm not alone in this. As a child, I thought I was weird. I thought I'm the only one, but I know that I'm not alone in this in the trans community. The less the responsibility for your own transition, the better. I know that, okay? So I was really hoping that Yashiro would end up as Kagura at the end of the story and they would just have a straight romance. I mean, or a lesbian romance. There's this thing in the story about this other girl. Um, this girl who kind of falls for Kagura. The Kagura person of Yashiro, basically. And that would have been such a great lesbian romance, and I would have loved that, but no. Spoiler, Yashiro had to come back as a guy and had to develop a gay relationship. I wanted to relate to it. I wanted Yashiro to stay as Kagura. That was the fantasy I needed. Alright, don't blame me. That's the reason I gave it a 7. I would have given it an 8 if that was the case, or a 9 maybe. I probably not 10 out of 10. I might have given it a 9 out of 10 if Yashiro just decided to stay as Kagura and just be in a lesbian relationship with the other character, which I don't remember. What was the name again? Nanahara Mano. Wait, what was the name? Yeah, Tori Rin. Was she the character? Okay, this is bad that I forgot the name of the character, but her. I so wanted that, but that is the reason I gave it a 7. I actually wanted to give it a 6 because I was so pissed that oh no, Yashiro did not stay as Kagura and did not get into that lesbian relationship that I was hoping for. I was pissed at that, alright. So, but like I was like, okay, I'll just give it a 7, I guess. Otherwise, you can go and read it if you're into that. Like I think it's just fun. I think it's fun to read. It's a fun read. it is queer, of course. Even if it wasn't trans, lesbian, and all that, it's still like gay. So it is queer. Um, Anyone wants to read, go ahead. It does not have an anime adaptation. However, it does have a live action adaptation which changes the story slightly, not much. Slightly changes the story slightly, but you can go and watch that. Although I did prefer the manga a lot over the live action. But that's all I gotta say about this one. Um, let's move on to the next manga. The next manga is Kanojo ni Naru Hi. Now, remember when I said like a lot of trans women don't want responsibility in their transitions? That's like a trans woman fantasy. I know you're there, okay? Do not lie to me. But yeah, it is kind of like that. Kind of. So, let me go through the synopsis on, and yeah, 7.33, and I rated it as 7. Um, I do not remember why I did not rate it 8 and I rated it as 7 exactly. But let's go through this first. Childhood best friends now Mamiya and Kyosuke Miyoshi have always competed against each other, whether in academics and sports or trivial day-to-day things. Despite now winning every time, Kyosuke refuses to give up, hoping to defeat him in the future. One day, however, at the age of 17, Now is struck by a sudden illness and is hospitalized for several weeks, only to return as an emerged female. Much to the dismay of Kyosuke, who is afraid of women, Now easily accepts the situation and is ready to continue living life as a girl. In a world where gender shifting mechanism maintains a fixed male to female ratio, Kanojo ni Naruhi is the tale of Now as a boy who has switched genders, adapting to the change in his circumstances. Sex would be the correct term, but let's go with genders, or whatever you want. But basically, it's that. Again, lot of. I don't think there's a lot of anime, but there's a lot of manga and light novels about this certain situation of, oh, guy gets a disease and gets turned into a girl. There's a lot of like that. Like, I think a lot of trans girls might have read that as kids or whatever. But it's a small one. It's just 20 chapters. There's also a sequel of like different kids going through this situation. These two characters are there in the sequel, but they are like adults and all that. They become adults in this manga itself. I think it's fun. Um, she now, who is completely fine with being a woman, does not have any issues. Now is completely fine with it, and it's just fun. I think it's a fun rom com and it's a fun romance. So it's a straight romance, effectively, but you can give it a try. It's fun. It's fun. I think it was not like anything like special. Like, I had a lot of praise for Fukaboku and Senpai wa Otokonoko. It's not like that. So it's like good. It's fun, but it's not something mind blowing, I suppose, is what I want to say, which is why I gave it a 7. 7 is like, okay, it's fine. It's like, it's good, but like average kind of good is what I use 7 as usually. But that's what it is. The sequel is not in the list of 25 manga that I collected. It's Kanojo ni Naruhi Another. That's the name of the sequel. But yeah, I don't really have that much to say about it, except that like it's fun, and the synopsis gives away the plot, and it's just rom-com after that. But that's what it is. This also, there is like some backlash to this and stuff, like because of the illness usually affecting kids, but it affected it's like children, like non-teenagers. It affected now at 17, which is weird. Like, there's some of that shit. uh but I think you should just go and read this if you just want like some decent manga to read. But uh with that being said, let's move on to the next manga. The next manga is Okaeri Alice. Okaeri Alice. And Oshimi Shuzo is a great author, manga author, I think. It's not a big manga; it's just 40 chapters. The average rating is 7.04, and my rating is 7. I am actually planning to reread the manga very soon, and I might, if my memory serves right, and if I find it if I remember how good it was, because I don't remember why I gave it a 7, but for some reason, I feel like I should give it an 8, because I remembered some certain things which I think deserve a lot of praise, but I'm not sure if I remember them correctly. So I'm going to go back and reread this, and if I find it like as good as I think it might be, then I would re score it to 8 from 7. But that's not what it is. It came out from 2020 to 2023, so it's extremely recent. It's extremely recent to the point I was reading it last year when it was ongoing. I ended it when it was ongoing. And I'll just read the synopsis. Childhood friends Yohei, Kei, and Yui are reunited in high school, but what seemed like a straightforward love triangle between the three of them takes an unexpected turn when Kei shows up looking and dressed like a girl. In this story of adolescent awakening, perversion, and love, Oshimi sets out to explore the boundaries of gender, sexuality, and identity. Um, I think it's a great work by Oshimi. Oshimi has tackled gender in quite a few of his works. I haven't read a lot of them. Uh, I think this is good. I think it deserves more than 7. I think it deserves an 8 at least from me. I have read one review of Okaeri Alice on YouTube. I can't remember which YouTuber it was and what was the video title, so I can't find it right now. If I can find it anytime soon, I will probably link it in the bio. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know, but it was a great exploration of what gender is. The protagonist is not a woman. They are not a trans woman. They are non-binary. If I remember correctly, they are a gender. Um, so yeah, they are not binary. They don't identify as a guy. If again, so what the protagonist was, I was here. Yohei was the protagonist. Yohei, or was it Kei? I am completely. Hold on. Kei was the protagonist, right? So Kei, the protagonist, they said that they want to get out of the shackles of being born a man. That's what they were trying to escape, which is completely fine. I think that's completely valid. That's I don't. Here's the thing. That's dysphoria. I don't know how you would explain if someone is assigned male at birth, someone is AMAP, and they feel the shackles of masculinity, the societal pressures of masculinity and everything is binding them too hard that they are feeling uncomfortable to be a man or whatever. I don't know how else you could describe it other than gender dysphoria. So yeah, I think they are queer, the protagonist K. They are a gender from what it seemed to me at the very least, and that's how perceived it. And I think it was a great exploration to gender and sexuality as a whole. Kei and Yohei had a talk towards the end about gender identity and gender expression. Um, it's a lot going on. It's kind of deep. It's quite deep actually if you are complaining about any of the previous ones that I mentioned that they might not be that deep, I suggest you go through this then, because I think it's quite deep. It is good. It is very good. I'm going to revisit it. I feel like I should give it a better score, so I will go and revisit this manga sometime in the near future. But Okaeri Alice, I think you should absolutely read this, especially non-binary people, agender people, people who relate to masculinity, binding them, shackling them, and making them uncomfortable. I think people like you, if you are one of them, you should go ahead and read this, as I think you might be able to relate to this. Um, but other than this, I don't have that much to say to it. I did not relate a lot, other than like them presenting femme, but they're certainly not a woman, and it's not even like that they are agender. It's not someone I related as much as I like kind of tried to empathize with. Um, that's how it was. I think that I am not sure if that made sense what I just said, but yeah, that's how I felt about it. But if you want 40 chapters, 7 volumes, go ahead and read this. So yeah, that's about it. Okay, dear. So let's move on to the next manga. The next manga is Oya ga urusai no de Kouhai to Gisou Kekkon Shitemita. I made my best friend to shut up my parents. Um, and this is, I think, in the list, this is the first manga that's not about a trans or non binary person. None of the protagonists are trans or non binary. This is a lesbian manga. It's very small. It is just 4 chapters. I really wished it was kind of bigger because I kind of liked it. I liked the dynamics between the two. I will read the synopsis and then I will say some things about it. Machi Morimoto is a girl who is expected to settle down, get married, and become a stay-at-home mother. Her parents nag her about finding a suitor, but she is neither interested in nor understands love. In an attempt to stop her parents from controlling her life any more than they do, she marries her best friend Hana Agaya, who lost her job and needed a place to crash. Hana is into girls and she's had a crush on Machi since high school. Machi, though, has never experienced the tender feeling of loving or being loved, while Hana is charismatic and outgoing, always doing what she loves and having fun. As the short manga comes to a swift end, only time will tell if their fake marriage will allow true love to flourish or end up driving them apart. Um, Now, very sweet story. Hana is lesbian. She's lesbian. She's gay. She's gay as fuck. And Machi is seemingly asexual. Is Annie romantic? ROS is from what I caught when she was first introduced. Hana likes Machi. I think it's like explained in the synopsis. Um, it's small. It's like they pretend to love each other. They pretend to marry. Like it's set in Tokyo, I believe. When was it? It's like 2018. It just finished in 2018, April to June. Um, but yeah, so they decided to register their relationship with, I do not actually remember, did they register or did they just say they're in love with each other? But basically they pretended to be a lesbian couple to Machi's parents, because Machi's parents, being the conservative assholes they are, wanted their daughter to get married, be a housewife, yada yada yada, because they're fucking conservative boomers and that's what all they could think about if they have a daughter. Enough ranting. But cis lesbians, trans lesbians, I think all of you should be able to relate to this, lesbians. But I think cis lesbians, um, or even if not cis, just AFAB lesbians, you could be non binary and be a lesbian. So, AFAB lesbians, The only reason I think AFAM lesbians will be able to relate to this a bit more is because of this expectation of Machi being a housewife, getting married, settling down, and all that shit, and being finding a suitor and all that. Because I think these are precious cis women, and AFAB people face way more than trans women. Trans women face a different kind of uh, issues regarding parents. It's misogyny both ways, but it's different kinds of misogyny. And this is what a lot of cis women face. So it's just fun. If it doesn't matter if you're cis or not, if you're not a femme or anything, you can enjoy this. I am trans. I enjoyed the fuck out of this. It was very sweet. I loved it. Hana is quite a sweet person. It's just wholesome. It's really sweet, cute, and all that. And it's just 4 chapters, so it's very short. So I don't see any reason for you to not go ahead and read this. So that's mostly what I have to say about this. But because this is like a short manga, so I will just move on to the next manga. The next manga, a big name, Ranma Half. I mentioned Ranma Half before in this video, and this is here, the manga that's responsible for cracking the eggs of a lot of trans women weebs that I know. Like, if you're a trans woman watching this, watching till this part, and just tell me if Ranma Half cracked your egg or not, and what do you think about Ranma Half or any of the other things in the comments or anything. Big name, very popular, Rumiko Takahashi. I think she's a legend in the mangaka community, in the anime industry. Ranma Half got an anime. I watched the anime. I did not watch the OVAs and the movies that came after. I watched the anime, and I remember the anime did not end completely. Like, the manga had more of a story than the anime. The anime ended pretty early in terms of like the story progress. Maybe they caught up in the OVA and the manga, but also other than that, Ranma Half is the first ever manga that I read way back in like early high school or so. So I remember in India we had this TV channel called Animax, and Ranma Half used to be aired on Animax, and I used to watch Animax a lot. I used to wait for a new episode of Ranma Half every day on Animax, and to a point, after a point, what it became was like we had these things like set-top boxes and like cables, and Animax stopped coming in cable, and it only came in set-top boxes. And at that point, only my grandparents had set-top boxes among people I knew around there. So I always had to go to my grandparents' place to watch Ranma Half, and I was extremely interested in Ranma Half because which trans person, which binary trans person do you know does not want the power? I mean, gender fluid, bi-gender persons. Like, do you, like, if you had a chance to get Ranma's power, would you or would you not get it? Answer me in the comments, if you are watching this. But yeah, I was extremely interested in it. It basically, it took my cracked head. Like, I already knew I'm trans. I did not have the terminology for it because I did not yet have internet connection that good to discover a lot of things. So it basically, Ranma Half took my cracked head and fucking shattered it on the floor. And that's how I would describe it. Fucking love it. There are lots of problematic things. Homophobia, transphobia. It's there. It's like an old ass manga. It came out like in 1987, and it published till 1996. This was Rumiko Takahashi's second manga, I believe. I think the first one was Urusei Yasura, Ranma Half, and then the third was like the third popular one was Inuyasha. And so what I did was, because I couldn't always go to my grandparents' place to keep watching Ranma Half, what I did was I just thought up, hey, aren't there like comic books that these are adapted from. And I just basically Google search Ranma and I found a bunch of like manga pages. And I was like, okay, I can just read the manga then, because I don't need, because I had, Indians can relate. I had 2 GB of internet access every month around that time, and I could not watch a lot of anime episodes because of the limited internet usage. But I could read and I could download manga from questionable websites. But yeah, Ranma Half, that's what I did with Ranma Half, and that's how Ranma Half became the first ever manga I read, and I think it's still good. I think it's extremely fun. There are problems. There are a lot of problematic things. It's an 80s manga. Of course, there are this misogyny, this transphobia, this homophobia, but it's just good. It's just fun to watch, and I know a lot of trans women love this show. It cracked their eggs. I just realized I did not even read the synopsis, but you'll understand why I think this is a trans dream come true, right? Here we go. Son Tendo runs the Tendo martial arts school accompanied by his 3 daughters, Akane, Nabiki, and Kasumi. One day, the sisters' lives are turned upside down when their father announces that he has promised one of them to be married to a fellow martial artist's son in hopes of carrying on the family legacy. In addition to their mixed reactions, when the fiance arrives, the last thing the Tendo family expects in Ranma Saotome and his father Genma. Ranma has been training in China with his father until an unfortunate accident changed them both. Now, when water touches them, Ranma turns into a girl and Genma into a giant panda. Ranma follows Ranma as he attempts to get along with his newly betrothed, the youngest of the Tendo sisters, Akane. As the two begin to attend the same school, they deal with fellow friends and rivals, all of whom have something to say about their engagement. The anime and the manga are slightly different in the case that I think, if I remember correctly, it's been a while since I watched the anime or read the manga, but I think the main difference was like in anime, no one knew about like the Ranma and the male Ranma and the female Ranma, whom I will call as Ranko Saotome because that's the name she went by, he went by in some chapters and episodes, and like the school students didn't know about it in the anime, but in the manga they did. At least most of them did. So if I remember, that was the main difference, if I remember it correctly. But yeah, if you're a trans woman and if you have not watched or read Ranma Half, go and do so. Again, warning: there will be some problematic shit, but it is fun. It is. So yeah, I think most trans women weebs I know what Ranma Half is. But just in case you don't, there you are. Uh, there you go. I give you the suggestion, I suppose. But yeah, that's. I don't know what else to say. I can talk a lot about different aspects of Ranma Half, but like it's going to be big. It was my first manga. I remember it. But yeah, uh, on to the next video, on to the next manga. The next manga is Shishunki Bitter Change. I'll read the synopsis. 7.67 is the default, the average score, and I rated it 6. I think it might go up to 7 if I reread it, but till now I think this is the lowest rated manga here. But yeah, I read the synopsis. In stories of people who swap bodies, they always return to their rightful places. But what if that never happens? Unfortunately, this is the exact predicament Yui Otsuka and Yuta Kimura find themselves in. One day, after Yuta comes crashing down on Yui from the treetops, both children find themselves in an unfamiliar body. But no matter how desperately they try, they are unable to revert things to how they originally were. In the end, they settle with going about each other's lives as if nothing happened, determined to keep the incident a secret. Though merely classmates in the past, this inexplicable accident binds their fates tightly together. For years, Yui and Yuta struggle through a life that is not their own. In their worrisome situation, the two of them discover what it truly means to walk in someone else's shoes. Now, this is Ranma Half was not explicitly queer. It was just a trans fantasy for trans people. I don't even think it was meant to be that, but it was. And Shishunki Better Change is also not queer. It's not explicitly queer. It is queer in certain senses, but it's not. So basically, these two kids were playing, they fell off the tree, they swap bodies, and they don't change back. And they decided to live as each other to the point they get married with each other in each other's bodies, and that's basically the show. The manga is like 67 chapters. When did it come out? It came out from 2012 to 2019. Um, and you will see them adjusting their I think the best part that I liked about it, I don't know, like their selves merging with one another, because in the beginning, Yui and Yuta, they were each other, they were just in each other's bodies, but their minds were completely fixedly like their own. They had their identities, but as the manga goes, we see those identities merging, and they to the point of not being that distinguishable, like between, like, okay, if their minds are still theirs like how they were. And it's just nice story. It's not explicitly queer, but I think there could be queer interpretations to this, considering it's very transcoded. It's not as forced, but also, hey, forced femme, another trans femme fantasy. But either way, I think it's a good read. I don't think it's bad. I did give it a 6, but I will again, like a lot of other mangas in this list, even I will revisit this, and that might change to 7 or it might stay the same. I don't think it will go down the rating, but yeah, I don't have too much to say about it considering I've read it a long time ago. But yeah, that's what it is. Um, you can go and read it if you're interested. But yeah, that's what I got to say about it. Moving on to the next manga. The next manga is Unmei no Aite ga Yayakoshii. Um, and let's read the synopsis first. We could just go to the hotel right now, right? Hiroto went and signed up with a dating agency when he was heartbroken, and the match he ended up was a much younger, very cute girl. The compatibility turns out to be 200%. They get along fine when she invites him to go to a hotel, and their bodies end up being perfectly matched as well. Hiroto is overjoyed. However, when he meets up with her again, the person before him turns out to be a pretty boy who claims to have the exact same name. Um, the average score is 6.86. I rated it 8. For personal biases, it's ranked 10,000, another 10,000 above manga. It has 14 chapters. It's not that big, and it's like published from 2018 to 2020. Um, so it's a fantasy kind of thing. Like, oh yeah, 200% match. That shit does not happen. But like just like comedy bullshit. Um, this person, I will use the pronouns they them, because they are gender fluid, question mark in brackets, and they are obviously sex fluid because it's magical sex change manga. Basically, they have a female form and a male form. They meet up. The guy meets up with them when they were in their female form, and it turned out great. And then they meet them when then he meets them when they are in their male form, and they have issues with that issue, that thing about them constantly changing because he thinks he's not ready for this kind of relationship yet, which is understandable to a point. But again, the person who changes the sex, I forget the character's name, but they did not mention the name here, did they? No, they did not. But so they both have dating issues. This person signed with the dating agency because of their dating issue, and this other, the gender fluid person, is what I'm going to call them. I forgot the name, but that's what I'm going to address them as. I think they are gender fluid. They might not be, but I think they are. They have a problem with them not getting accepted because of their fluidity, because of that exact situation. And I think if any gender fluid person reads this, and if you like it or don't like it, let me know what you think about it and if you could relate to it. But that's what it seemed to me, at least. It is a comedy rom-com. It's like magical sex shift and all that. Like, I feel like that gender fluidity, like, as an analogy, that works perfect. Like, that works, not maybe not perfectly, but like fine. That works fine, that this person is gender fluid, and the struggles of being gender fluid when it comes to dating. I think I'm not gender fluid, so I might be speaking crap right now. So if you're gender fluid and you read this, let me know. um, but yeah, other than that, fun. I guess it's fun. I did rate it very good because I just liked the idea of this guy, the guy Hiroto, um, coming to accept their partner as fluid. I will just say fluid. It's better than gender fluid or sex fluid or whatever. As fluid, and I think that's kind of nice, and that's just sweet and everything. And I just love queer-esque and queer stories in manga, especially because manga is an art form I love, and seeing this kind of stories, it's just I just like it. I am biased towards this kind of stories. I'm sorry, I might be speaking shit about a lot of them in the reviews because I'm biased, but that's how I feel. This is my video, this is my review. So yeah, that's you can just take the list of the manga from the list, and I'll post in the bio, and just go read them without watching it, I suppose. But that's what I feel about these. I just like them. I'm biased towards this kind of manga. But moving on to the next manga. The next manga is Usotsuki Lily. Usotsuki Lily is a decently sized manga. It's 119 chapters, as you can see here. 7.59 is the average score, and I rated it an 8, which is very good. Let's read through the synopsis. Hinata Saotome is suddenly asked out by En Shinohara, a gorgeous boy in her grade. What she doesn't know, though, is that his hobby is cross-dressing. En has always hated men, and when he sees his own reflection, he punches out whatever is doing the reflection: windows, mirrors, whatever. To combat this hatred, he dresses up as a girl. Hinata decides to go out with him anyway, and despite his weird hobby. So, again, another manga which is not explicitly queer, although, spoilers, in the final arc of this manga, a trans girl character is introduced for a short time in the high school they are in, and there's an exploration of her gender. I mean, the trans girl knows she's a girl, but it's like En Shinohara's behavior the hatred, the misandry, the hatred towards men of En Shinohara is tested out against a trans woman, and how he comes to accept the trans girl and all that shit. Um, that's there. That is in the story. I think it could have been handled better. I gave it an 8 out of 10, despite it being problematic in certain ways, um, because I just enjoyed it. And I am biased towards, because here's the thing, I grew up in a conservative society, and I grew up trans, and I did not have a lot of media representation. There's not, it is still, even today, there's not enough trans women media representation. How many trans protagonists are there in media? Like manga, there are a few. I'm reviewing them here. I'm not reviewing them, I'm suggesting them more so. But other than that, like, not a lot. Even in manga, these are just a few. There are like thousands of manga, and like, these are just like 25. It's not a lot, and not all of them are trans even, or trans femme. But either way, I grew up in that kind of society, in that kind of time, and the only few things that I got to relate to are things like Ranma Half or Usotsuki Lily, where they're just, despite being like not being trans, if they're just cross dressing, if it's like a male to female thing, like I watched YouTube videos where femboys were doing makeup. I watched all kinds of YouTube videos. I read a lot of short stories on the internet and all that shit, just to get a hint of representation, despite the representation not being explicitly and overtly trans. And I would say this is one of those stories, um, that it published from 2009 to 2014, and this is one of those stories I got, even though I did not read it back then. I read it like a couple of years ago, a few years ago, in fact, and despite now having knowing better and having some more representation, this reminded me of the time when there was no representation at all, and this is what the only tiny hint of someone like me I would find. Because at that time, as a child, I was like, okay, I might be a guy, but I want to be a girl, and the closest thing would be something like this: a crossdresser, a femboy, a drag queen, Bugs Bunny, who might be non-binary in canon or whatever, but like, that's not how we viewed it as kids. Like, these were the representations that I craved for, and I think that's why I am biased towards this. It's like it has the old-esque manga art style and everything. It's like a shoujo. Um, most things to like about, and it's comedy. It's a rom-com, and I usually like rom-coms. And it has problematic stuff, but I think this is fun. At least for me, as I grew up without any kind of representation or anything, I think this is fun for me. And if you are like me, or if you just want to check this out, I think you should. It's 119 chapters, so it's a bit slightly bigger than a lot of the other mangas I suggested. But yeah, Usotsuki Lily is here. Here's the suggestion. Now I will move on to the next manga after this. Um, by the way, before moving on, sorry, there are queer characters in the manga. I just forgot. Like, the protagonist is not technically queer. I mean, they are, I guess. I mean, they are in, even in this world they are. But as I said before, like femboys, crossdressers, drag queens, I would consider them, even if they are cisgender heterosexual, I would consider them part of the queer community. simply because of the opposition to gender roles, gender expression, gender identity, sexuality, and all that shit. They are also opposing through their actions. I would very much personally consider them a part of the queer community, which is why I think this manga is queer in that sense. It's this het, the protagonist is, at least, and here's the thing, it has other queer characters. There are gay guys, and even the girl Hinata Saotome, who's the protagonist, she seems to be accepting of bisexuality at some point. At least that's what it seemed to me, because she started accepting and cross-dressing, and she has been like, yeah, I might have a girlfriend, it's fine. Like it seemed like she would be bisexual, she or pansexual or whatever. But like, I think this is queer. There are gay guys, so that just makes it queer. And younger brother is gay. Uh, Basically, it has queer characters. It also has a trans girl towards the end of the arc, which I discussed much earlier. But that's what it is. But now I will move on to the next manga. The next manga is another manga by Oshimi, and the first manga in the list that I have not read to its entirety. I am reading. I have read only 5 chapters, as you can see here, and Boku wa Mari no Naka, another exploration of gender. From what it seems and from what I've heard, it has finished publishing. It published from 2012 to 2016, and it has 80 chapters. Um, I will read the synopsis. When Isao Komori moved from the Gunma countryside to the bustling city of Tokyo for college, he believed this to be an opportunity to start his life anew. Yet, as months pass, Isao comes to realize that he hasn't made a single friend. Despite the time spent as a serious student, Isao drops out during his sophomore year to become a shut-in, killing time playing video games. Isao's only saving grace is going to his local convenience store every day to see the angel of the convenience store, a high school girl named Mari Yoshizaki. Though Isao is content watching her from afar without confronting her, one day she turns to meet his eyes. Without being able to remember a thing, Isao awakens in the body of Mari. Unsure of how he found himself inside Mari, or where the young lady he now possesses really is, Isao chooses to continue Mari's life in her place. Um, so, again, seemingly a story of a guy finding himself trapped in the body of a girl. Um, Trans femme fantasy, but I mean, not exactly. It's like just in fantasy. It is scary to imagine that the Mari's her own personality just disappeared. That's scary. I'm not turfs. Don't come at me for this. Just saying, it's fiction. It's not. Anyway, this is a manga that I'm reading, and I've read only 5 chapters into it. I've heard a lot about this manga, and I heard it is good, and I can't speak much about it because I do not have any idea, considering I'm only reading it. So once I've read it, I will probably not make a video of it by itself, but I just wanted to put it as a suggestion because it just seems to be a manga that explores, like, considering Oshimi Shuzo, this is the person that wrote Okaeri Alice, and that was an exploration of gender like I've never seen before, but the protagonist was agender. So considering that, I think this might be artistic, quite artistic, and quite literary. I'm not even sure the fucking words this fucking morning. I am sleepy kinda, but I just wanted to suggest that, considering the author and how the author explores gender in his other works, which is why I decided to put this manga in the list. I have not read it, so I can't speak much to it. But from what it seems, there is a live action TV series that aired in 2017. So I gotta watch that live action. I don't think this has an anime, but that's about it. Uh, I can't speak much to it, so I will just be moving on to the next manga. The next manga is something I love. 女装してめんどくさいことになってるネクラとヤンキーの両片思い。Another manga that I'm reading. I've read 68 chapters into it. The average score is 7.56. I haven't scored it because I'm still reading it, but I think I would score it an 8. It's funny. I love it. It's queer as fuck. This is fun. I really love this story. It's just fun. It's just cute fun. Anyway, I'll just read the synopsis first. Shumei has a problem. He's in love with Hana, a girl who works in a maid cafe. Unfortunately, he's too embarrassed to go in and talk to her until he puts on girl's clothes and transforms himself into Mei. What Shumei does not realize is that Hana is actually Hanae, an otaku boy who's more comfortable with people when he's dressed as a girl. What's more, neither of them are aware that they both go to the same school. So, first things first, Hana is, from my interpretation, a trans woman, because Hanae, the male form, when she, I will just say she, because I feel like she's more comfortable presenting feminine and presenting to be a girl and everything. It's even said she's more comfortable with people when he's dressed as a girl, but I'll use she her pronouns for the time being. I have only read 68 chapters. I have to catch up with the manga, the latest chapters, if they have come out. It has been publishing since 2018, so yeah. But it's basically this. This dude Shumei is kind of a delinquent, and Hanae is an introvert, a nerd introvert, and they hate each other in school, but they have a crush on their each other's femme personas. In case of Hanae, it's Mei, and in case of Shumei, it's Hana. And Hana, as I said, is very likely a trans woman. I feel like that's a trans woman experience, that, oh, you're not comfortable, like, because that's how it was for me. I was extremely, I still have social anxiety, but I was like an introvert, like really shut in kind of. I was not comfortable with anything at all before transitioning. I'm more comfortable now, and I think that's the case here as well with Hana. Maybe not for me. I don't think it's the same thing for me, but it's like kind of lesbian, kind of gay, like it's yuri, yaoi, straight, all mixed at the same time. It's very sweet, it's very wholesome. I love it. I adore this. I really want to see. It makes me keep reading the story, is the best thing that I can say about it. And that's basically what I think. I can't say much because that's about it, and it's still ongoing, so I can't say much. There's not some deep, really deep exploration of gender or anything, but it's just fun, and I think that's enough. Some people just want some fun manga to read, not something deep, mind-shattering stuff. So here you go. There's a suggestion for that, and moving on to the next manga. And yet again, the next manga is also something that is ongoing. Kaneshi Tokidoki Kanojo, boyfriend, sometimes girlfriend. The average score is 6.95. I have not rated it yet because it's ongoing and I'm still reading it, and I've only read 3 chapters. I will read more of them. I have to catch up with this, but I added this just because of the premise. So I can't speak a lot about it considering I've only read like 3 chapters, and I only started reading it because of the synopsis. But let's just read the synopsis for now. It started publishing last year, so it's like a very new manga, and I think it's by the same author or the artist as Lie, Love and Lie, I think, was it? Koitoso? Was it Koitoso? I don't remember the name of that anime, but I think it's the same artist or the author because I think the art style looks very familiar to me, the manga art style. But either way, the synopsis. Hodoka Akizuki, a high school student just turned 17, met the school's Madonna, Chihaya Shishizaki. Due to a certain turn of events, prepared to be shot down, he gambled it all by telling her, I love you, please go out with me. And that's how they started going out. But Chihaya has a secret Hodaka cannot even imagine. A kind of love changes everything. The curtain raises on a new frontier in shonen love comedy. Rabukome. Uh, anyway, so I will say basically what the thing is. This girl has this thing going through her family lineage. It's hereditary that I think the women in their family, it's only I don't remember correctly, but I think it's the women in their family only, but they basically have this condition where if they kiss anyone, the person who kissed them gets their sex changed for like a few hours, and she gets a boyfriend, Hodaka Akizuki. uh, Basically when they kiss, he becomes a girl again. Trans fantasy. Trans lesbian fantasy. But yeah, that's the plot, that's the story. That's not, I haven't read much. As you can see, I've read only 3 chapters, but because this is the plot of the manga, that's the reason I started it. I will catch up with it and I'll see how it goes, but I'm just putting it as a suggestion. It has quite a low score, 6.95. Is it the lowest score? I do not remember, but it could be the lowest scored public score that I have come across in this list. But yeah, if you want to check this out, uh, you can. On to the next manga. Yet another ongoing manga, Kininatteru Hito ga Otoko ja Nakatta, which has an average score of 8.36. I think I would give it a score of 9 out of 10. I am still reading it. I'm in to 76 chapters. I know a lot of chapters have come out since then, and I have not read. I am going to catch up to the manga. This manga is more popular as the green lesbian manga because of the background. Like as you can see here, like this is how the entire manga is. The characters are black and white as usual in manga, but like the background is like green, which is why it's known as the green lesbian manga in a lot of online social media circles that I've come across. I will read the synopsis. Fashionable and upbeat high schooler, Aya falls head over heels for an employee at a local CD shop. He's got an air of mystery about him, great style and an impeccable music taste. Little does she know, this supposedly male employee is actually her female classmate Mitsuki. Mitsuki generally keeps to herself, but since her seat is right next to Aya's, she can't help but extremely aware of the other's crush. Revealing the truth is out of the question for Mitsuki, but perhaps getting closer to Aya wouldn't be so bad. So, to a lot of friends, when I suggest this manga, I usually say this is the actual lesbian Nana. And for people who are not aware of Nana, Nana is this very, and then they were roommates kind of lesbian, not explicitly lesbian, but roommates, 2 girls being roommates and not realizing they're gay for each other. A manga that is extremely popular. In fact, I think it's very popular. I still think it's underrated. I think it should be. I think it deserves Nana deserves more praise. Unfortunately, Nana has been like just stopped, like it's like on pause, indefinite hiatus, so that's probably never gonna get completed. However, Kininataru, this one, this is Nana in high school, but like actually lesbian. This is very gay. This is just gay. So lesbians, go, please, please, I beg you, please go read this manga. Like, I think this is good. I think this is really good, and I think people would enjoy this. This is quite cute. I think it's very wholesome, and despite it being like, I've read 76 chapters and there's a lot more chapters out. Every since this is a like a web manga, I'm sorry, since this is a web manga, every chapter has like just 4 pages, so it's not big at all. The author even posts every chapter on their Instagram. I follow the author on Instagram. She posts every chapter on her Instagram, but they're in Japanese. So if you want the English, I don't know what the official English translation is. Um, like you can get it on Twitter. There's a lot of translations and shit. But if you can read Japanese, you can just read it on Instagram, as she keeps posting, or Twitter. I think it's posted on Twitter as well. But again, fantastic manga. Lesbians, go read this. This is really good. I think you will like it. If and Nana fans, people who like Nana, go read this. I mean, it's not exactly like Nana, of course, but the fact like, oh, one of them is in a band, other is gay. It's kind of similar, and it's actually gay. It's more gay than Nana because they are gay. They're explicitly lesbians. In Nana, both the Nanas, Nana and Hachi, they never came out as gay, but they had lots of gay thoughts, even though they never came out as gay. But this one is very gay. So lesbians, please go read it. It's good. Trust me, it is good. Anyway, I will move on to the next manga. The next manga is yet another manga that is ongoing. Um, Koisuru Otome no Sukurikata. I think I turned my childhood friend into a girl. Another trans femme fantasy. There's a lot of trans femme fantasies, and they're like I put in a lot of trans femme fantasies, and can you blame me? Like, hey, the public score is like the average score is 7.73. I haven't scored it yet because I'm still reading it. I'm into 80 chapters of the manga. I will have to check if it got updated, and then I'll need to catch up. But before that, I will just read through. Kenshiro Mido is a popular student who harbors a secret. Despite being a boy who has always loved the art of cosmetics because of his efforts to keep this low profile, um, only his sisters and Hyura Miyate, a childhood friend, know his hidden obsession. Apart from his siblings, Hyura is Koshiro's only hope at realizing his potential. Kenshiro begs Hyura to let him practice applying makeup on him, and when Hyura finally succumbs to his request, the drastic transformation shocks Kenshiro. From the appearance of a dull, slender boy to a charming, petite girl, Hyura's new look evokes something in Kenshiro. On the other hand, Hyura has had feelings for Kenshiro long before his dramatic change. Often watching from the sidelines, Hyura thinks that a romantic relationship with him is beyond his reach. But with the revelation of Kenshiro's unusual hobby, Hyura remains optimistic and decides to devote himself to his friend's passion. As their affection for one another intensifies, the pair slowly develops an unbreakable bond. It's romance, it's queer as fuck. Um, Come on, the title. I think like it's Hyura. I think the best part I like is Hyura discovering. I will use they them pronouns for now. Um, because I don't know if Hyura would. I mean, I think Hyura doesn't mind any pronouns from what I could get by reading. Wouldn't mind any pronouns, but I would still use they them to be safe because it's gender neutral. Um, Hyura's exploration of their own gender is something I liked, and also the fact like this is another thing, like being trans does not depend on you having dysphoria. Being trans depends on you having euphoria. I don't think Hyura expressed dysphoria of being a guy, but to me it seemed pretty clear that Hyura does experience euphoria on being presenting as a feminine person, at least, if not a girl. I don't know if they're a femboy, a trans woman, or non binary yet. Uh, However, that's what it came off to me, and it seemed very euphoric to me. And I liked that one. I liked Hyura's relationship with their mother, who accepted them, which I envied a lot. Okay, spoiler alert. My mom is shit when it comes to accepting me, and I barely have any contact with her. Hyura's mom was like, I cried because of my personal experiences with my mom and my parents in general and my entire family. When Hyura's mom was like, oh, my phone's wallpaper is your photo, and that was Hyura in their past male self. But now Hyura is like, okay, you have to accept me as I am now. So their mom takes a new photo of them to say, okay, then I will just change my wallpaper to your current self. And she just accepts Hyura like that, and I cried. I don't know if it's the hormones that I'm taking, but I cried there, and I bawled like a baby, and I think that was very emotional. I liked it. I think it's very sweet. I also like the breaking down of toxic fragile masculinity in this. Like, the guy likes makeup. That's nice to see. Because this guy is cis. He's cisgender, and he's not necessarily gay. I think it could be like, technically. I mean, I am a gender abolitionist, so like in my gender abolition view, everyone would be non-binary and pansexual of some kind. But yeah, he just likes Hura. Like, they fall in love. They both of them. They fall in love. Spoilers, but like, is that surprising? Really, they fall in love, and that's how it goes. It's sweet. It's a sweet. It's some exploration of Hura gender, like Hura getting more and more comfortable from being an introvert to being more comfortable participating in things, being more active in the class, getting more friends, all that kind of stuff. And it's really nice. It's nice to see people accepting Hura and all that. So yeah, it's a sweet trans girl fantasies. You can just giggle, giggle while reading this, if you want to. So yeah, that's one of my suggestions. And moving on to the next, and yet another manga that is ongoing, Zenbu Kimi no Sei. It has an average score of 7.18. I have read 35 chapters of this. I have to see if new chapters are out, and I will have to catch up to the manga. But I will say it right now. I think, personally, I would give it a 10 out of 10. Uh, I started this manga long ago, years ago. This has been publishing since 2019. Like, I think I started at around 2021 or 20, even 2020. I don't remember, but I started this a long time ago. I'll read the synopsis first. Ryo Sagimiya has a rare condition that causes them to switch sexes. They fall in love with Nagisa Mizukami, whom they met on a tour of a high school. They end up enrolling in the same school, but a physical mixed romantic comedy. Not much in the synopsis, but basically, it has this syndrome TSS that randomly changes the sex of the person affected by it when they are excited. And this person, Ryo Sagimiya, has the condition, and Nagisa also has the condition, and that effectively leads them to being gender fluid, of them. I mean, Nagisa is gender fluid. Nagisa has no fucking idea. They are gender queer, gender fluid. I don't know what would be the right term, but Nagisa was born with the syndrome. Now, I don't know how that is the case. Like, that hasn't been explained at the very least yet. Ryo Sagimiya is AMAB, but they get the syndrome as a teenager and they suddenly change and all that shit. Then they try to start living as a girl at sometimes, as a boy at some other times, and all that shit, all the shenanigans. But more than that, more than just the random rom-com, oh, another transgender syndrome, transfem fantasy disease or magical thing or whatever, like there's a lot of manga like this that would be transfem fantasies. But other than just this, there's a lot of good things that I saw in the manga. This another queer cafe. These people also work in a queer cafe, and it has a lot of queer people. All the cafe staff are queer. There's a trans man, which is rare. Like all the trans men. I don't see that many trans men representation. I know there are some trans men manga. I think Boys Run the Riot, which I have not put in the list because I personally have not read the manga at all. But in this way, I think this is the first manga where I saw a binder being used. So the trans man character, this trans man, he uses a binder, and that is probably the first time I saw a binder in a manga or it being explained. And just transness, queerness, gayness, everything being explained and everything being explored. And there are queer characters, and these two, because of the condition, fit right into the cafe as staffs, as two waiters slash waitresses. And it's a rom-com on that. They both share the same dorm room, and it's like a rom-com, silly rom-com moments and everything, but also a lot of queer characters, which is quite good. And I think, okay, even if I don't, if even if I don't give it like a 10 out of 10, I would have to give it a 9 out of 10 because that's just, again, I am biased. I am very biased. So yeah, I will probably, but you can, here's a suggestion, another suggestion from me, you can go ahead and read this manga. I think it's very good. So yeah, on to the next manga, and the next manga is I no Shintairiku. It's rated 6.44 and I also rated it 6. Synopsis is, Sohei Nikotame is transferring to a new school and vows to enjoy a new life. Living a lifestyle true to himself or herself, as the case may be, adopting the name Sarah, Sohei heads to a school in a girl's uniform. Ready to grab life by the gnats and twists, Sarah's no pushover. Bright, hyper, and frequently violent, she's like nothing anyone at school has ever encountered, especially her sweet, upstanding classmate Kaito Naruse, who finds himself knee-deep in Sarah's brave new world. It's extremely short, just 6 chapters, but I think, like, she's a trans girl. The protagonist is a trans girl. It's very apparent. She chose her name Sarah, everything. She goes to school as a girl. She's extremely vocal about that. So yeah, she's a trans girl. It's a rom-com. It's a silly comedy kind of stuff, but it's fun. I think just seeing how outrageously vocal and hyper she is very refreshing, and I liked it about her. I know only one other manga trans girl who is as violently vocal, in a very positive way, violently vocal as her, as a trans girl, which I think is in the list. I will come probably the next manga that I'm going to discuss, but not much to say about it other than just that, like, it's fun. It's just refreshing to see such a vocal character about it, like comically violent and everything. But yeah, she is a trans girl. That's extremely apparent. So if you want to read this like short ass manga, like go ahead. It's not. I mean, it's fine. I think it might. I don't know if it deserves a 7. Like, it doesn't do anything mind blowing. It's not depth. It doesn't show a lot of queer characters. I know there's a lot of transphobia in the manga, but just the protagonist, like just personality of the protagonist, was kind of refreshing, I suppose. But I don't have much else to say about this. This is also probably the low. This ranked so behind in the first manga to be ranked so behind in the list with 16,000. So it's probably the most unpopular manga in the list that I provided. Anyway, moving on to the next manga. Stop Hibari-kun. As you can see, I have not read the manga. I have watched the anime though. I am planning to read the manga, and I just had to, like, I did not add manga that I have not read in the list, but I had to add Hibari-kun because I wanted to talk about it a bit. Um, and also, I have watched the anime, so it's not like I don't know anything about it. So, let me just read the synopsis, right? A teenage boy has now moved in the home of his mother's friend. Because she had died a while back, it just so happens that the Yakuza family has 4 beautiful daughters. But one daughter, Hibari, who is more beautiful than the rest of the daughters, is actually a boy. Hibari just can't keep his hands off our hero, and so their crazy yet happy lives go on. 53 chapters with a average score of 6.92. I will give it a fucking 8. Probably. It has lot of problematic stuff, but it was published in 1980s. In the early 80s, I think this was good. This was really good for the time. I think this might have been revolutionary for the time because, like the previous manga, Hibari is extremely vocal and she is a trans girl. It's very, very apparent if you read the manga, if you watch the anime. It's extremely apparent that Hibari is a trans girl and Hibari is very vocal about it. People don't accept her. Everyone, almost everyone, is transphobic around Hibari. But Hibari continues to fight. Hibari continues to be herself. No one can stop. And it's pretty fun. It's actually very fun to watch the anime. I watched it. I'm hoping to read the manga soon. I hope it's going to be as fun. The worst part of this is that the manga was cancelled, apparently. From what I heard, after 53 chapters, it was cancelled. Now, something about the author, though. The author, Eguchi Hisashi, is known for his drawings of women's fashion, which is really good. I've seen his drawings, but I don't know if you have seen the meme. If you're a trans girl, if you're in trans groups on Facebook or whatever, if you have seen the meme of Eguchi Hisashi saying that because the author is extremely likely a trans woman, and I will just prove it. Eguchi Hisashi meme quote. I don't remember the exact thing, but let me see if I can find it. Here, I will just put this image. There we go. The ideal girl for me, this is a quote from Eguchi Hisashi, the author of Hibari-kun. The ideal girl for me is the one I would have become, I would have wanted to become if I was born a girl. It is not the girl I would dream to date. It is really the frustration of not being born as a girl which fuels my drawings. This is what the author said, and Hisashi might be a trans woman. Now, it is not up to me to decide someone else's gender, but being a trans woman, I can kind of know the signs of when someone might be a trans woman. And this is very trans. This is this is not something cis people say. So yeah, the author might be trans. um, but either way, this is just fun. I just wanted to mention it. This came out in the early 80s. This is the oldest trans manga that I trans girl manga. This is the oldest trans girl manga that I could find. I don't know of any manga with a trans girl protagonist older than this. So if you know, do comment. But I don't know any. So yeah, Hibari-kun, go ahead, read it. This trigger warning, there is going to be transphobia in it, but it is fun. And for the time, for the fucking early 80s in Japan, I think this was good. I'm not taking shit out. This is so problematic. It came out in the fucking 80s, okay? That's all. Now, the last one. For the last one, I am moving on to I want to be a cute anime girl. So not exactly a manga. I know, not a manga, it's a webtoon. It's literally in the side, the webtoons. But also, Azul posted on Twitter as well. It's a webtoon, basically. It's not a manga, but I am personally giving it an honorary manga status. I am no one. I don't have the qualifications for that, but I'm just giving. I don't care. I'm trans. I'm making a queer manga video. I am putting this. I don't care what anyone else says. I love this shit. I love this webtoon. This is my favorite webtoon. I have not read a lot of webtoons, granted, but this is my favorite webtoon. I can't live without this webtoon. I am every week I'm checking in for new chapters. I mean, I know Azul has been a bit slow on releasing the chapters and all, but oh my gosh, they are extremely sweet. It's so wholesome. And Cheryl is, I don't know, is it pronounced Cheryl or Cheryl? I don't know that, but this is just so cute. I mean, it's like, come on, I had to give her the status of an anime or manga girl. Like, she wants to be a cute anime girl. Can we just let her be a cute anime girl? Like, that's the entire reason. She wants to be a cute anime girl. I can't make an anime about her, but like I can give her the cute manga girl status at least in my video. So that's what I did. She is, okay? Yeah. So let's read the synopsis. Karen, I don't know how it's pronounced exactly. So I'll just say Sharon, although I don't think that's correct, but I'll just say that for now. Sharon's sister dressed him up as a girl and he liked it. This is a story learning about who she is and slowly realizing and becoming her true self along with her friends and family. Updates on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays most of the time. Well, either way, yeah, this is just a trans girl finding out that she's trans. Her family, friends, other trans people, queer people. This is cute shit. I love it. Go read it. Please go read it. This is the best trans webtoon in my opinion. I mean, there's a lot of good trans webtoons actually, but this is my favorite. This is just way too cute. I can't. I had to put this in here. Like, here's the thing. This ended. I have ended this thing of all 25 mangas, but I will go back to the image that I made. You can't see the the entire image from here because there are some other characters in this corner that you can't see here. But besides like Juzo, there's like other characters like the Fukaboku person, a protagonist, this Chisato. Okay, you can see Chisato and Takina here. And Hime here. There's also the Sailor Moon characters, the lesbians, and this Revolutionary Girl Utena. They're basically in this corner that you can't see. But here's the thing here, Cheryl. I have put her here in my uh, queer anime and manga characters because she wants to be a cute anime girl, and I'll let her be because I I support trans rights, trans wrongs, and trans uh, whatever. Like, I support it. She wants to be a cute anime girl. She gets to be a cute anime girl. That's it. But yeah, once again, if any one of you watched it till here, I don't know if you will. Why would you? But if you did, thanks a lot for watching. And even if you didn't, even if you watched part of the video, so you are probably not even watching this. But still, thanks a lot for watching. This was a bit of a big video because I did go through 25 different manga, speaking shit. But yeah, there's a lot of characters here. If you have any questions about why a certain character is here, even if you think they are not actually queer, you can drop it in the comments. I will respond. But yeah, also, hey, Azul, the author of I Want to Be a Cute Anime Girl, also retweeted my tweet, which was really sweet of her to do so. And thanks, Azul. Um, yeah, but yes, exactly. So, bye. It's this morning. My brain's not working. I stayed up the entire night. And it's daytime now. So, bye everyone. Thanks for watching again. I don't know what video to make for another. I will probably make another Pride Month video. I don't know yet what to make. But, thank you for watching again. Have a happy fucking Pride 2024. And see you all again. Bye bye.